mathematicians, welcome back. The last time we were together, we reviewed the hour hand. Well, we need to talk about our other character, our other creature that lives in the far, far away land of the land of time. And if you remember, his name is Tall Slim Jim. Tall Slim Jim can count by ones and fives, but he loves to count by fives. He can count from 0 to 60. So he counts 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. But when he gets to 60, he doesn't say 60, he says o'clock. So let's try that again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, o'clock. All right. He talks faster and quieter than our other creature in the land of time. And because he talks faster, it only takes him a minute to say a number. I know that's much longer than you and I saying a number. But compared to the other creature, Shorty, that takes an hour. Tall Slim Jim does it much faster in a minute. It takes him 60 minutes to count to 60, or o'clock. His nickname is the Minute Hand. Why do you think his nickname is the Minute Hand? What do you think there? All right. And just like we reviewed with the hour hand, or Shorty, we're going to review with Tall Slim Jim in the land of time. We're going to check in on him and see if we can tell what he's saying. So tonight, or today, you're going to ignore Shorty. Okay? We are going to focus on Tall Slim Jim, who is much taller than Shorty. If you notice, Shorty is kind of inside the numbers. Tall Slim Jim comes outside of the numbers. So, Tall Slim Jim, if he's counting, he goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, o'clock. Now, a way to tell what he's saying. On my clock, it kind of gives us a hint. 5, 10, 15, 20. It gives us a hint of what Tall Slim Jim or the Minute Hand is saying on the outside. But many analog clocks don't. So what could you do? If he's pointing at the 4, listen closely. If he's pointing at the 4, that means he is counted by fives 4 times. 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yep, we're right. If he is pointing at the 9, he is counted by fives 9 times. Let's try it and see if it's right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Yep, we're right. So, on most clocks that don't have this little hint of what the Minute Hand or Tall Slim Jim is saying, you can figure it out by looking at the numbers on the clock, and whatever he's pointing to, that's how many times he has counted by 5. So one more practice. If he's pointing at the 1, how many times has he counted by fives? 1 time. So what is he saying when he's pointed at the 1? He's saying 5, because he's only counted by fives 1 time. Now, do you remember what he says when he gets way up here? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. O'clock! That's right. He says o'clock when he gets to 60, or when he is counted by fives 12 times. He says o'clock, and we write o'clock like this. It's important that you know this. O'clock is written O-O. Or 0-0, not O-O. It's not letters, Miss Ramsey. It's numbers. It's math time. 0-0. Please notice that there are 2 arrows here for the minute hand, or for Tall Slim Jim's spots. He takes up 2 spots always. Even if he's only saying 5, we don't just write a 5. You have to write 0, 5. If he's only right here, we're only going to count by 5s, but I just want to show you this. If he's only right here, if he's only moved one little tick, each of these little dots is a minute. If he's only moved one little tick, one little dot, and so he's only done 1 minute, we don't just write 1. We write 0, 1. Okay? So for Tall Slim Jim, if he is counting by ones from 1 to 10, he says it like this, you guys. It's very important that you know this, because he always likes to have 2 spots or 2 digits in his numbers. 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10. And 10 has 2 digits. Oops, I erased it a little bit. 10 has 2 digits. So once we get to 10 and higher, we don't have to put that 0 in front of the number that he's saying anymore, or where he's pointing anymore, do we? Baker is back again. He loves math time. Wow. Okay. But I told you he loves to count by 5s. So we're going to focus on him counting by 5s in our lesson. Again, don't look at Shorty. Only look at Tall Slim Jim. We will see what he is saying. Please. And this kind of represents a digital clock. A digital clock is just the numbers. This is an analog clock. We are writing it like a digital clock when we write the time, aren't we? So this first longer space is where Shorty, the hour hand, would go. But we're not focusing on that right now. We're focusing only on the minute hand, or Tall Slim Jim, as I like to call him, who takes up 2 spots. He'll always have 2 digits. All right. And when he is pointing at one of these numbers, the 1 through 12 that Shorty needs to see to say, that's how many times Tall Slim Jim has actually counted by 5s. All right, let's do one example together, and then we're going to try to do 4 where you try to beat me again. All right. Excuse me. He is pointing at the 5. What does that mean? That means he is counted by 5s 5 times, starting at the 1. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 25 has 2 digits, so you don't need the 0 in front. So you would just put 25. Okay, here we go. Try and see if you can beat me and have the answer before I show it to you. Here we go. Ready? We'll do 4 problems. He is pointing at the 3. What is he saying pointing at the 3? That means he is counted by 5s 3 times. There's your hint. Let's see if your whiteboard says what mine does. 15. Okay. Nice work. I'm not erasing the first line where Shorty or the hour hand goes, or the 2 spaces that Tall Slim Jim or the minute hand needs back here either. I'm just erasing my numbers. So on your board, every time we erase, just erase the number so you don't have to start over drawing everything. All right, what is Tall Slim Jim saying now? He's pointing at the 7, which means he is counted by 5s 7 times, starting at the 1. I will hold it up for a second in case you want to look at those numbers and count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Did you get the right answer? Awesome. Okay, 2 more. He is now pointing at the 10. That means he has counted by 5s 10 times. What is the minute hand or Tall Slim Jim saying? If you wrote 50, you're right. Okay. He is now pointing at the 8. That means he has counted by 5s 8 times, starting at the 1. What is he saying? Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Hopefully you got 40 written down too. All right, one last one. He is pointing at the 12. What does he always say when he points at the 12? That means he has counted by 5s all the way around the clock 12 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. What did you write on your board? Hopefully you wrote the 2 digits that represent in time o'clock. 0, 0. All right, you guys, that was our review today of Tall Slim Jim and the minute hand. Hopefully you're feeling a little more confident about reading time on an analog clock. All right, friends, have a wonderful rest of your math block. Bye, mathematicians.